He has got three big successes, and one is in Puglia with Primitivo.
I would have never said that.
Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Welcome to another installment of On the Road Special Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim.
Welcome to Italian Wine Podcast. This is the On the Road edition, and we're in this beautiful setting in Venice on a special occasion today. We'll talk about that a little bit later, about Bacio della Luna, but we have here with us Mr. Schenk, Mr. François Schenk, right?
I'm supposed to say something and like
yeah. No. So François, would you mind telling our audience who you are and what you do for your family, the Schenk family? First of all, what is the Schenk family?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It might take a long time.
No, not so long. I need the skinny version.
If I start up with a Swiss speech,
no.
It's longer than the Italian one. So.
Okay, all right.
Now, the Schenk family is originally Swiss, but we...
what part of Swiss?
The French-speaking part, the western part.
Mm-hmm.
And,
but you don't have that terrible French accent.
Oh, I had to get rid of it.
Yeah,
I had to get
good
rid
job.
Of it. I've been spending almost half my life abroad, so and obviously a few years in the US.
Right.
And
whereabouts in the US?
And also in France. So if you go to France as a Swiss French speaker, you have to lose your Swiss French accent, and then when you go to the US, you have to lose your French accent, because otherwise everybody asks you the question 10 times a day, especially in the US.
Okay, so then, getting back to the family.
Originally Swiss, but we left it kind of in 1915 already. My grandfather thought Switzerland was too small of a country, so he said to his father, "We need to get out of here. I know we can stay with vineyards and things in Switzerland, but we need to go and see other things in other places." So he went to France first, and I myself grew up in south of France, so that's why I'm not that Swiss in the end of the day. Though I came back to live at home. And then they expanded it to the business to Spain in 1927, in the middle of a civil war, so that was great. We had to move from one place to the other. Then came Algeria, which was a French colony at the time. It was the largest exporter of wine in the world.
And when was that? Algeria
was in the 1930s, and we stayed until the 1970s. And finally, Italia.
Yeah,
1952.
Simone's over there. Hello.
Monsieur Simone, we see you, we hear you. And, so Italy was the last one. And funnily enough, Italy has become by far the most successful, also the biggest production.
So most successful in terms of sales, in terms of revenue, or most successful in terms of, I don't know, the profit, successful in terms of brand?
Unfortunately, in terms of everything, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, because it might make some of our colleagues jealous.
Right.
The French and the Spaniards and the Swiss might be a bit jealous. I don't know if I want to say that, but no, it is. Everybody knows about it.
Right.
And it has been the fastest expanding company within the group, and notably over the past decade. The past decade has been incredibly quick.
So, I mean, before talking about, I guess, the Schenk Italian wineries, it's called the group, is it? Mr. Daniele, help us. The Italian...
Schenk Italian wineries.
Right, Schenk Italian wineries. Can you contextualize as a whole? Give me some numbers, like how many wineries, how many states in the entire world, and then to Italy.
All right, so we talk about...
how many countries?
It's like a new slogan. We say one family,
right?
4 countries, and these are 4 countries of production, because we have other countries of distribution where we have our own distribution bodies and companies, and 44 estates. We used to be 40 estates, but we found out that Monsieur Bernard McGregor in France had also 40 estates, so he copied us, or maybe we copied. No, we didn't copy him. So we had to switch to 44. We found a few more.
Just because Bernard McGregor said, we have 40 estates.
Yeah, so
that's good. That's good.
We've got more now. We've got 44.
Yeah, good strategy, Mr. Schenk. Okay, and then
that's marketing.
for 127 years of winemaking. So how many wines do you produce? Do you know at all?
I'm afraid I don't, and the only thing I can tell you is
Right.
that, and it's not for Italy, because Italy is very disciplined when it comes to that, but in our places where we produce way too many wines,
Right.
and it's a problem in the sense that we cannot focus enough in terms of marketing and promotion and on those wines. So we're actually trying to reduce, notably in Switzerland, where everything is small and tiny, you know. Every tiny vineyard is a different brand. So we're trying to focus on more important things now.
So how do you go about, you said you added 4 wineries, right? How do you go about adding those wineries? How do you select the new wineries?
These are wineries in the States we already had, actually, but we normally, we did not want to talk about all of them because we've got sometimes so many.
Right.
And again, some of them are pretty small, notably in Switzerland.
Right.
So we didn't feel the need to mention them all when but no, we do. We know we could, because we had to pass Mr. Bernard McGregor.
Right.
I keep the...
Well, I mean, do you have this like live competition with Bernard
No,
McGregor?
no,
Okay,
no.
just
We
just
like
checking.
We actually sell his wine, so we're very happy with what he does.
So listen, as we are, we're called the Italian Wine Podcast. We're going to focus a little bit, go down and talk about Italian wines now, right? What was, how did you deal with the whole COVID period? I mean, we're still in COVID. We thought we would not be here today, but how did it affect your companies overall? And did you change your strategies at all?
Well, all of the Ontrade's sales were obviously affected, but we managed to rebound. Surprisingly enough, we rebounded quite well with retail. Retail has been doing great for us in most countries, so we managed to compensate with this, and also with the online sales. Online sales have also been booming. Not that we were just so much better suddenly, but consumers were obviously buying online because they couldn't go anywhere else.
But did you expand your online business during COVID?
Yes, we did. Notably in Switzerland, because it's our smallest market.
Right.
But because we're a local producer and we distribute everything locally, because nothing gets imported, only 2%. We had to be present, and it's a small country. It's very easy to deliver goods to the consumers. And in other countries, we do it through distributors, like third-party distributors.
Entree, and I guess, how significant is the Entree market for you? I know you, at least I'm not sure if it's, I'm looking at Mr. Daniele, but I'm not sure if it's the Italian wines or in general of the Schenk Group, that I read somewhere it's like 70% of your market, your sales revenue comes from export market, right?
That would be Schenk.
That's the
Italian
Italian wineries.
Yes.
Okay, and what is that mostly? On trade?
No, it's mainly retail.
It's retail.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's lots of more and more on trade.
Yeah.
Mainly in Italy, probably, and also more and more in the US when you find the local distributors, wholesalers that can do the job. But most of the market, as for most, is the off-trade business.
So I was just Googling you just before I came here today, and there are only articles about you in French. There was an old article of Wine News 2016 about both of Mr. Daniele and you, but mostly about you and Schenk Group, because you have this ambition of making everything certified organic. Is that correct? Can you expand on that, your vision in terms of what you would like to do?
Yeah, of course. We actually had vineyards that were organic or even biodynamic for quite many years, but we never communicated because we...
Why didn't you communicate that?
Because But it's probably the fault of the Swiss mentality. That is, it's a mentality of bookkeepers and bankers, and as long as you're not certified, they don't dare saying things out loud, and they're afraid that somebody's going to come and check and criticize and accuse them of whatever. So we were organic, but
you were organic
certified.
where? In Switzerland or in Italy or in Spain, or where were you organic?
Well, we just decided actually last year or early in this year, the shareholders and the board of directors, that all of the Schenk vineyards, own vineyards, had to be turned organic. But we found out that actually most of our vineyards, 90% of them abroad, outside of Switzerland, were already organic. We just had to launch the certification process. So that's and because you are in the southern regions, in warmer climates, it's not that much of a problem to switch to organic vineyards. It's the challenge is going to be mainly Burgundy and Switzerland, like the northernest vineyards.
But Burgundy suffered a lot this year, right?
Yeah.
How did it work out for you guys?
Oh, yeah, that was the worst year to start up.
Worse than 2007?
A process like that. I couldn't tell you yet, but I'm not into nouveau, that type of comparison.
Yeah.
No, there was, for both regions, there was really the worst year you could start up with something like that. But it doesn't matter, because the entire process takes up to 7 or 8 years.
Right. So is there a plan to do, what is it, let's go back to Italy, like what does it look for your organic certification program? Like, do you have a deadline? Have you set a date? Like, by this year, I would like all of the Italian wineries, vineyards, to be certified organically?
We told all of our colleagues in the group that as of 2025, they should have started a certification process, at least up until 2030. So it gives them quite enough time for that.
Well, 5 years.
But again, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not sitting on the certification. I don't think the certification is that important, because that's not what you want to tell to the clients, to the consumers and the journalists. They want to know about you doing something, and you decided you believe in it, and whether it's certified or not, I'm not sure that really makes a difference.
But I beg to differ, François, because you can't really put organic wines unless it's certified, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is...
Yeah, this is a big discussion.
I know,
right?
I'm quite easygoing, I know, but because we work with so many different wine regions in 4 different countries, we see many different situations, and we do experimentation. We do experiment in all those regions, in all those wineries and estates, and every single wine is a different story.
Right.
So it's difficult to have a global rule for going organic for all these guys. They each need to try up their own things, go their own way at their own pace. You cannot globalize. There's no way. So that's why I'm easygoing on the certification. And also, the going organic, it's a permanent experimental process. It never stops, especially if you go beyond to biodynamic. It never stops.
So are you pushing, you can't be pushing all of your vineyards to biodynamic winemaking, right? That's really, really intense, because you have 44 estates, right? It's very, very ambitious.
We haven't decided quite yet if we want to go biodynamic. But the thing is, within the normal bio, the normal organic growing, there is this problem that you only have copper and sulfur to try to help you in your vineyards. But the more of that you add onto the vineyards, it's not necessarily good for it. So when you come in with tractors and all the time you pass into your vineyards 4 times more than usual. And so we have to ask ourselves the right questions. And maybe I see a new way of going organic. I think all organic growers should look at things differently. And it's not necessarily going biodynamic, but there must be something. Because if we all go like that, with spraying vineyards with copper and sulfur, and 4 times more than the former way, There's something there that I'm not happy with. So that's why I'm saying certification is not a big thing, but we need to keep experimenting ourselves. We need to invest time and money because nobody else is doing it. I mean, other producers do, but among the big pharma groups, I don't think anybody is investing to help us, because the vineyard business is a little
it's
business.
a huge investment for big groups like yourselves.
Yeah.
Listen, just to go back a little bit about the family business. So you're François Schenk. Have you got siblings?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
Unfortunately, you do.
No, I do have a younger brother who is also in the business.
So there are just two of you?
No, and we also have almost 7 cousins onto the other side of the family.
Right.
So it's like a 50-50.
And are they? How many of them are directly involved in the Schenk business?
There are 4 of them actually, plus one, but just because he got married to one of my cousins. So we tend to count him in too.
Right,
so
and
it's like 5.
And what are everyone's different roles? Do you guys get on? Like how are your roles divided? I mean, you have so many estates. I guess you can just send one to Spain and one to France and one to Italy and whatever.
Well, we can send them into exile. That's what happened to me actually. That's what happened to me when I was young.
And
they sent me. They made me leave the country, but I was very happy about it because I had come back from France to Switzerland. At the age 18, they sent me abroad again.
Right.
Went to the U.S., then came back.
Where did you go in stateside? Where did you go in America?
Most of my time was in California.
Oh yeah, California. Come on.
Then I ended up in Texas.
Oh come on. In Texas?
Yeah, it was a different story, but it was like I was going back to my studies.
Oh my goodness,
and
Texas?
Anyway, yeah.
Seriously?
And before that was New England, Vermont. Vermont,
so Vermont, yeah.
No, I've seen it all.
So your role exactly, what is your role exactly? Other than being, because it says like you're the brand ambassador, you're the CEO. What are you? Officially, what is your title of the company?
Oh, I've got different ones.
Tell me.
I'm a shareholder.
Right.
I'm a board member.
Right.
Board being the one that decides for all the strategic things. And I cannot be part of the management anymore because, otherwise there's some sort of conflict of interest.
Oh, okay.
So I had to make a decision some years ago and go to the board or stay with management. And because I was getting old and lazy. Not lazy, but I was getting old. And after all these years with Schenk, I said, well, maybe the board is a much nicer way.
But you're the kind of, but you also is kind of the face for the group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what does that make you, like a brand ambassador?
That's all they call, brand family ambassador. But
family ambassador?
I don't have that on my business card.
I don't even have a business card, so that doesn't matter. Listen, before we talk about Pacho de la Luna, just quickly, I know it's kind of a cheeky question. Have you got a favorite wine?
I'm
from your winery?
I'm way too eclectic as a person to have one favorite.
Okay, so describe to me what you drink. You drink wine every day, right?
It's like, if you go for one type of wine, it's like going for one type of people, It's like going, me as a man, for one type of woman, and I only go for tall. I like the tall blonde, so that kind of thing.
Right. Don't make me go there.
I don't want to say something like that. So I'm a lot more eclectic and open-minded than that. So, but among all of our wines, so I have to pick. I guess I have to pick an Italian wine because it was.
Which one is your favorite Italian wine?
But it's not necessarily the one we sell the most, or the one we.
No. But I'm just curious, like in terms of your taste, your personal palate, right? Because this podcast is, also about sharing a little bit of yourself.
No. I'm a lot into white wines and rosé wines and lighter red wines.
Right.
So if I have to name a few Italians, we used to do we still do some Falanghina. I love Falanghina.
Okay.
And I love. We used to have I don't think we have it anymore, but a Refosco. But I have to talk about products we still do.
Yeah.
So the one I like best is the Corvina.
Corvina.
Is the Corvina, which is like the older sister or the younger sister of Amicone, or winery in Veneto. So it's a different type of red wine, but it's not the most successful product of a range, but
Right.
that's one I like.
Well, the most
best.
successful is Prosecco,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, no, we do have some.
Is that right, Mr. Daniele? The most successful product is Prosecco, obviously.
Pacho da Luna, yes.
Yeah.
For us is Primitivo.
Oh, Primitivo.
He has got
Oh, you're kidding.
3 big successes, and one is in Puglia with Primitivo.
Oh, I would have never said that.
One is in Veneto with Micone and Veneto wines, and Pacho della Luna being the third one.
Okay, so
These are the 3
that's a
main
good
ones.
segue right into the Pacho della Luna. Why are we here today? Like, what is the celebration of Pacho della Luna? And Venice, why is this the perfect setting for the celebration?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
Sometimes we need to be arrogant. If we want to have success, we
Yeah.
need to be arrogant.
No, okay, let's hear Mr.
We
Schenk's
have,
version.
No, we're celebrating the 10 years.
Because we are here. Because
Yeah.
we think that we are strong in Prosecco, very strong. Only if our 10 years that we are there, but in 10 years we have done a huge success. We are one of the most known brand in Italy, the domestic traditional market, Ontrade market. And I think this is a beautiful place for Prosecco, no? Prosecco is Veneto, Venice is the capital of Veneto, and we are here.
You have to, thank you, Daniele, that's exactly it. You have to link, I think, maybe the image of Prosecco with Venice, because Venice being next door, it's very easy to link the two. And we have people coming from all over the world, like clients and distributors.
So who's coming today? What kind of guests are you expecting?
These are all distributors and importers
Oh, okay.
from Europe and Russia, and Eastern Europe and Russia.
Not Russia, because we have restriction with COVID.
They couldn't come?
Yes,
Okay.
Russia, United States, and America, because also Canada, we have nobody. But when we make the invitation,
I can be the American tonight.
come. And but unfortunately, we have some restriction. We have many people from Italy, from Europe, many people from Europe.
Okay, great. Listen, so I'm really, really looking forward to joining you. Thank you for the invitation, first of all. And
Unfortunately, the COVID reduced us the capability of the restaurant.
oh, I know.
100, because the maximum of the.
Oh, I know. I have this problem because, as you know, I do also some events. So I definitely know what you're going through.
We said we unfortunately we was not able to invite everybody. That maybe we are sorry for that. But after 2 years where we work on this, to have from all Europe 100 people that come here and join us is a great success. We are very, very.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and inviting us to be part of this celebration today. And we'll be looking forward to joining you this evening. So I just want one last question. So do you know the story about Bellini?
Yeah, because I came here with my wife and she was sitting there
At the Harry Spa?
at the terrace, and she was telling me she was going to order for Bellini.
Oh, right.
And we were with a Dutch colleague, the guy that just showed up, the big guy, and he ordered 4 bottles of wine. We were asking us what we wanted to drink, and Chantal wanted to have a Bellini because she told me Bellini is right around the corner.
Yes,
So
I
it's
know.
right
We
there.
were going to go to Harry Spa before coming here,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't allow us because I don't know, because it's a problem, whatever. So Bellini. Do you know the story of Bellini?
No, that was invented next door, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
by is it a Dutch guy, an English guy? Or where
the story is, so this is very interesting because, you know, the Pacho della Luna is holy. Okay, we just, you know, it's okay. Everything is cool. Because Pacho della Luna is, of course, Prosecco, and and the biggest, celebration for Venice, we thought that it would be a very nice segue into the celebration tonight, because that's what it represents. Anyways, that was just a sidebar. And the story is, actually, there was this American, I guess, student. It kind of reminded me of you because you said exile. There was a student from America. Their parents, I guess, sent him here because he was an alcoholic student, and he had some problems. And at the time, he came, and then he recovered, and then he helped this Mr. Cipriani opened his bar. And the name of the student who gave him money to open the bar is Harry. That's why it's called Harry's Bar.
Oh, that's
there
a nice
you go.
story. So we need to
So
come up
that
with
kind of reminded me of you because you were in exile. They sent you to America, but there was an American, that boy who came to Venice and then helped open Harry's Bar. There you go.
Thank you so much, Stevie. We need to come up with a similar story for.
Beautiful because we learn something every day.
Okay.
Maybe I can pretend that my former maiden name was De La Luna or something.
Okay,
like
exactly. Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
this is a wrap. Thank you, Mr. Osso Simoni from the Sidebar, and Mr. Schenk for joining us
Thank you so
today.
much, Stevie,
This
for
is
having
Italian
us.
Wine Podcast, and goodbye, everyone. Ciao, ragazzi.
Ciao.
And that's a wrap for this episode of On the Road Edition with Stevie Kim. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure that you've subscribed to our channel and check out our other travel videos too. You can also listen to our podcast version. For more information, check out www.italianwinepodcast.com.